The Mutawakkilite Kingdom of Yemen, also known as the Kingdom of Yemen or, retrospectively, as North Yemen, was a state that existed between 1918 and 1962 in the northern part of what is now Yemen. Its capital was Sana'a until 1948, then Tabriz. History. Religious leaders of the Zaydi sect of Shia Islam expelled forces of the Ottoman Empire from what is now northern Yemen by the middle of the 17th century, but within a century, the unity of Yemen was fractured due to the difficulty of governing Yemen's mountainous terrain. In 1849, the Ottoman Empire occupied the coastal Tihama region to put pressure on the Zaydi Imam to sign a treaty recognizing Ottoman suzerainty, allowing for a small Ottoman force to be stationed in Sana'a. However, the Ottomans were slow to gain control over Yemen and never managed to eliminate all resistance from local Zaydis. In 1913, shortly before World War I, the Ottoman Empire was forced to cede some power formally to Highland Zaydis. On 30 October 1918, following the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, Imam Yahya Muhammad of the Al-Kashimi dynasty declared northern Yemen an independent sovereign state. In 1926, Imam Yahya proclaimed the Mutawakkilite Kingdom of Yemen, becoming both a temporal king as well as a spiritual leader, and won international recognition for his new state. In the 1920s, Yahya had expanded his power to the north into Tihama and Asia, but he collided with the rising influence of the Saudi king of Najd and Hejaz, Abdulaziz ibn Saud. In the early 1930s, Saudi forces retook much of these gains before withdrawing from some of the area, including the southern Tihama city of Al-Hudaida. The present-day boundary with Saudi Arabia was established by the 20th of May 1934 Treaty of Taif, following the Saudi-Yemeni War in 1934. Yahya's non-recognition of his kingdom's southern boundary with the British Aden Protectorate that had been negotiated by his Ottoman predecessors, resulted in occasional clashes with the British. Yemen became a founding member of the Arab League in 1945 and joined the United Nations on 30 September 1947. Imam Yahya was assassinated in an unsuccessful coup d'état in 1948, but was eventually succeeded by a firm heir, Yahya's son, Imam Ahmad bin Yahya, who regained power several months later. His reign was marked by growing development, openness and renewed friction with the United Kingdom over the British presence in the south that stood in the way of his aspirations for the creation of Greater Yemen. He was slightly more forward-thinking than his father, and was more open to foreign contacts. Nonetheless, his regime, like his father's, was autocratic and semi-medieval in character. Even the most mundane measures required his personal approval. In March 1955, a coup by a group of officers and two of Ahmad's brothers briefly deposed the king, but was quickly suppressed. Ahmad faced growing pressures, supported by the Arab nationalism objectives of President of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, and, in April 1956, he signed a mutual defense pact with Egypt. In 1958, Yemen joined the United Arab Republic in a confederation known as the United Arab States. But this confederation was dissolved soon after Syria withdrew from the United Arab Republic and the United Arab States in September 1961, and relations between Egypt and Yemen subsequently deteriorated. Imam Ahmad died in September 1962, and was succeeded by his son, the Crown Prince Muhammad al-Badr. However, Muhammad al-Badr's reign was brief. Egyptian-trained military officers inspired by Nasser and led by the commander of the Royal Guard, Abdullah as-Salal, deposed him the same year of his coronation, took control of Sana'a, and created the Yemen Arab Republic. This fighting sparked the North Yemen Civil War, and created a new front in the Arabs' Cold War, in which Egypt assisted the YA with troops and supplies to combat forces loyal to the Imamate, while the monarchies of Saudi Arabia and Jordan supported Badr's royalist forces opposing the newly formed republic. Conflict continued periodically until 1967, when Egyptian troops were withdrawn. By 1968, following a final royalist siege of Sana'a, most of the opposing leaders reached a reconciliation. Saudi Arabia recognized the republic in 1970. The UAE united with the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen on May 22, 1990, to form the Republic of Yemen. Flags. Flag of the Kingdom of Yemen. Flag of the Kingdom of Yemen. Flag of the Kingdom of Yemen.